What's up, Steelers Nation? Welcome back to the channel. As always, let's start with this. Our team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, is working tirelessly to sharpen every edge, to perfect every detail, and to chase greatness. Mike Tomlin's crew is not settling for good enough. They're pushing for more wins, more dominance, more of that Steelers brand of football that we all grew up loving. And before we dive into this breaking story, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button right now. It tells the algorithm we're one of the strongest fan bases in the NFL, and it helps Steelers content like this reach every corner of the black and gold universe. And hey, if you're new here, hit subscribe so you don't miss the big stories, trade rumors, and deep dives into everything Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, let's get into it, because the Steelers may have just found themselves a brand new wide receiver option after a major development out of Las Vegas. Here's the truth. The wide receiver room has been a work in progress for the last 2 years. We all know the front office made a bold move this offseason by trading for DK Metcalf, one of the most physically dominant receivers in the NFL. But in doing that, they also parted ways with George Pickens, which left a big question. Who's going to step up as WR2? Right now, the depth chart has some intriguing names. Calvin Austin III is a speedster who flashes when he's healthy, and rookie Roman Wilson has already shown some promising signs. But the problem is consistency. Injuries and inexperience can't be ignored. Steelers Nation wants to feel confident that behind Metcalf, there's another reliable target that Aaron Rodgers can trust in the heat of the moment. That's why the fan base has been begging for the team to make another move. At one point, the hot rumor was Terry McLaurin from Washington during his contract dispute. But that ship sailed Monday morning when McLaurin inked a fresh extension to stay with the Commanders. So what now? Well, out west in Las Vegas, something big just happened. Raiders wide receiver Jacoby Meyers has officially requested a trade. Now, if you're not familiar with Meyers, let me tell you, this guy is one of the most underrated receivers in the entire league. Coming off the best season of his career in 2024, he topped 1,000 yards and added 4 touchdowns. Not flashy, not a diva, but a grinder, a guy who runs precise routes, catches everything thrown his way, and does the dirty work. And here's the kicker. He's done it all without elite quarterback play. In New England, he dealt with a rotating cast of passers after Tom Brady left. In Vegas, he's caught passes from Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, and Jimmy Garoppolo. And yet, the production never stopped. Over the last 4 years, he's racked up at least 800 yards each season, with 20 touchdowns across that stretch. So why does he want out? Simple: money and respect. Meyers believes he's outplayed his contract, and the Raiders haven't shown willingness to give him the extension he wants. With Vegas hesitant to lose such an important piece, this could turn into a tug-of-war. But for the Steelers, opportunity is knocking. Let's break this down. Why would Meyers make sense in Pittsburgh? Reliable wide receiver too. He's not going to overshadow DK Metcalf, but he doesn't need to. He thrives in the WR2 role, moving the chains, running crisp routes, and creating separation. Perfect for Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has always loved receivers who are precise and dependable. Think Devontae Adams, Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb. Meyers fits that mold. He's a technician, and Rodgers would trust him instantly. Consistency. Unlike Austin and Wilson, who are still developing, Meyers is a proven producer. He gives you peace of mind heading into a season where expectations are high. In short, he checks every box. Now, let's talk numbers. Meyers signed a 3-year, $33 million deal with Vegas back in 2023. He's heading into the final year of that contract with a cap hit close to $15 million. If he's traded, you can bet he'll want a new extension right away. That complicates things for Las Vegas. When a player wants out and demands a new deal, trade compensation usually takes a hit. That means the Steelers might not have to give up a premium draft pick. Experts are saying a 4th-round pick plus maybe a 6th could be enough to get it done. For Omar Khan, who has already pulled off some masterful trades this offseason, that's the kind of deal that's absolutely doable. And here's where it gets even more interesting. The Steelers might already have a trade chip to sweeten the deal. Beanie Bishop Jr. Remember him? the undrafted rookie from 2024 who shocked everyone by not only making the roster, but starting 6 games, playing all 17, and picking off 4 passes, including 2 against Aaron Rodgers before he became his teammate. Bishop was one of the feel-good stories of last season. But here's the reality. The Steelers loaded up on cornerbacks this offseason. They signed Darius Slay, added Brandon Echols, and traded for Jalen Ramsey. Bishop, as good as he was last year, is suddenly fighting for snaps. Even defensive backs coach Terrell Austin said he needs to fight and work to get some splash to get in the picture. NFL analyst Eric Edholm recently wrote that Bishop could actually be a valuable trade piece. With his stock sky high after a breakout rookie year, moving him now could net the Steelers something they need more urgently, like Jacoby Meyers.
Let's be honest, Steelers Nation. When his name was called, this wasn't your typical 6th-round flyer. This was a quarterback who had pedigree, who had won at the highest level in college, and who brought size, leadership, and toughness to the position. Fans and analysts immediately started buzzing. Could this kid eventually turn into something special? Could he be the next late-round gem, maybe even a future starter down the line? Unfortunately, the hype train got derailed pretty quickly. In early August, Howard suffered a fracture to a small bone in his throwing hand. Nothing major in the grand scheme of things, but serious enough to sideline him for all of preseason. And that, my friends, is brutal timing. For a young quarterback, every rep matters. Every practice snap, every preseason drive is an audition, not just for coaches, but also to build chemistry with teammates. Instead of showing flashes in the preseason, Howard spent camp watching from the sidelines. That meant Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson got all the attention behind Aaron Rodgers. And as you know, in the NFL, opportunities don't wait around for anyone. Still, despite the setback, the Steelers never wavered in their belief in Howard. From day one, Tomlin made it clear. This kid was a developmental project, someone Pittsburgh wanted to bring along slowly. Now here's the good news. Coach Tomlin just gave us a crucial update. On Monday, he told reporters that Howard is moving in the right direction toward a full recovery. That's exactly what you want to hear at this stage. Even better, a video surfaced on social media, shout out to 93.7 The Fan, showing Howard back at practice. Not in full gear yet, but out there in street clothes, lightly tossing the football, getting his mechanics loose. For fans, that was a huge sigh of relief. Because let's face it, with Rodgers playing what's expected to be his final season and the backup situation being a bit shaky, Howard represents more than just another draft pick. He represents the future. So where do things stand right now? We know Aaron Rodgers is QB1. That's locked in. But behind him, things are a little more complicated. Mason Rudolph came into camp as the presumed QB2. He's the veteran, he knows the system, and he's been here before. But let's not sugarcoat it. Rudolph had a rough August. Costly interceptions, inconsistency in moving the offense, and questions about whether he can truly be relied on if Rodgers misses time. Then you have Skylar Thompson, who quietly impressed in preseason action. He played with confidence, executed the offense, and looked more comfortable than Rudolph at times. Some insiders even believe Thompson deserves to be Rodgers' primary backup right now. So here's the tricky part. With Howard hurt, the Steelers can't really afford to cut ties with either Rudolph or Thompson yet. The expectation is that Howard will start the year on injured reserve, which gives the Steelers roster flexibility to carry Rodgers, Rudolph, and Thompson all on the 53. But, and this is where things get interesting, Thompson's strong preseason could make him a sneaky trade chip if another team gets desperate for quarterback help. That's a storyline to watch in the coming weeks. Now, some of you might be thinking, okay, he's a 6th-round pick, he's hurt, what's the big deal? Here's the thing. Howard brings traits you just can't teach. At 6'5", 240 pounds, he's got prototypical size. He's got mobility for a guy his frame. And perhaps most importantly, he's a proven winner. He's played in high-pressure games, made big throws when it mattered most, and shown the leadership you want in a quarterback. That's why fans were so intrigued back in April, and that's why Tomlin's update matters. Because while Rodgers is the present and the Rudolph-Thompson debate is the short term, Howard represents the possibility of something greater down the line. Patience is key here. Nobody's saying he's going to be the next Ben Roethlisberger or that he's going to step in and save the season. But if you're building for the future, if you want stability at the most important position in football, Howard is worth keeping an eye on. Zooming out, the Steelers are in a fascinating position. On one hand, you've got Aaron Rodgers, a future Hall of Famer, trying to write the final chapter of his career in Pittsburgh. That alone makes 2025 one of the most anticipated seasons in recent memory. On the other hand, you've got uncertainty behind him, and that's where these younger quarterbacks come in. Rudolph and Thompson may decide the immediate future, but Howard could be the long-term answer if he develops the right way. That's why his recovery is so important, and that's why this latest update from Mike Tomlin is newsworthy. It tells us that Howard's journey is still on track and that the Steelers aren't giving up on the idea that he can become a factor down the line. So now it's time for you, Steelers Nation. What do you think? Do you want the Steelers to pursue Jacoby Meyers as their new wide receiver too? Do you think his reliability and route running would be worth parting with draft picks or even a guy like Beanie Bishop Jr.? Or would you rather see the team roll with Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson behind DK Metcalf and keep their draft capital? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'll be reading every single one, and I want to know where you stand. And before you go, don't forget to smash that like button if you enjoyed today's breakdown, and hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. We've got a huge season ahead, and this is the place where Steelers fans come together to talk, react, and celebrate. Here we go, Steelers Nation. The hunt for number 7 is alive, and the moves we make in the next few weeks could be the difference between playoff hopefuls and Super Bowl contenders.